I'm hitting go live and it says we're live.
Hi, welcome to the StockinetteZombies. I'm Amy, also known as Jane.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 382. We're back.
Yeah.
I'm not traveling, back in Rochester. Although it's been kind of, it feels like sometimes you're like, oh, New York, Minnesota, same, general northern sector. But when we were, I was getting texts from Jeremy of the snow on the ground in Minnesota while I was sitting sweating for my sweater at Rhinebeck, because it was so warm. It was like in the 60s slash getting close to 70s. So
I
definitely felt like a locale. Yeah. What?
I said I saw a few tank tops out there in pictures, right? There were some
Yes.
people who are like real warm.
Yeah. It's all about like where your home geography is, right? True. Not going to name any names, but there was a vendor that also comes to CK, that was at India Entangled, and they were, because they're from Southern, right? Like, this is cold. And I'm like, no, this is not cold.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Yep. So, but yeah, it's great to be back. Missed the fam, but also it was really great to get away, right? Like, I just can't say enough great things about meeting up with your friends and seeing 20,000 of your fellow crafters in and it was amazing. Did all of the events, right, which was a bit much. I think in the future maybe won't do all of the events. But India Untangled and Cakepalooza and Woolen Folk and Rhinebeck for 2 days. So at one point in Rhinebeck, we were sitting at some tables and there were people around me like, I'm just done. I am done. And I'm like, I'm done shopping. And was like, I'm done too. And come to find out there's different types of done, right? Like, I was done with like walking around and looking at stuff. They were done with people. And I was like, oh no, this extrovert is like all about the people. But a lot of people. When we got there at Woolen Folk, it was like you could hear the crowd noise coming out. And then I think Rhinebeck was back to pre-pandemic levels of just and it takes on a little bit of a state fair feel when it's really nice out, because the locals come out and join us crafters that have made pilgrimages to the Dutchess County Fairgrounds. And so it was a great house. It was great events. I showed some restraint early on, but then kind of went a little crazy, a little more yarn than I intended to at Rhinebeck, which I think you'll see in a future event. But thank you to anybody that that stopped by, gave me a hug, said a kind word, met up on the hill for our ZKN picture. Obviously my awesome housemates, and specifically Lynn, who came and picked me up, and we traveled together down to Rhinebeck, and sharing the kind of her first experiences at Rhinebeck was kind of refreshing. It's kind of like a kid at Christmas, right? They bring a whole kind of joy and everything's new and exciting, right? So that was fun. But handed some pins out during the podcaster meetup time. So if you're here and brand new, it may be because I handed you a pin and you're like, StockinetteZombies. What is that? So.
All right, cool. I've just been kind of hanging out here in Rochester, been dealing with retreat stuff, which has been fun, and kind of getting invitations going. If you've applied to vend with us, I did want to mention again that I have the new and, well, not new, but new to us because it's a new venue, market layout out to the people in charge of the space. And they're going to give me an official layout, but they've been kind of backlogged. So that official layout isn't coming back to me until the 28th. So we won't do additional vendor invites until November. And I did send out an email to the people who had applied. They've been informed, but I just thought I'd let people know here that if you've seen some announcements, that's just me ticking and tying some things and getting those announcements out. But we'll get that market finalized here in November.
So for the vendors and also for the ZKers, the attendees, right? More is coming.
Yes, no, for sure.
Get excited. Yeah.
Yeah, the craft along, I am putting together the email for that, and it's out there, but I thought I would try to be more prepared by doing an FAQ or, just like what the craft along is about, and have that posted somewhere before I fully send that out. And I'm having writer's block or memory problems. I don't know. Like, I feel like, oh, this is everything. And then I'm like, no, it can't be everything. No, this can't be.
Yeah.
So,
well, as far as Rhinebeck and intersection with ZK goes, I got to see a lot of the more recent past speakers. So Adela sends her love. Gigi sends her love. I did not get to see Cecilia, CC, Creative CC. But I did see that her group did a fun little dance video and looked like they were having a lot of fun. Zandy sends their love, and got to chat with Vincent as well. And he is just so fabulous and genuine, and I could not be more excited for him to get to meet all of our fabulous ZKers and for everybody to get to speak to him, and hear him speak. Right? It's he's just you do your research and you invite people to speak, and then sometimes you're like, oh, they're just so fabulous.
Yeah, I feel like when we invited Vincent, it was just kind of a next milestone for me. I really think that, Vincent's a multi-crafter, right? He does crochet and knitting, and he's a designer of both. And yeah, I think that this will be a great year.
Absolutely. And also got to speak with Shayla, who did Black Pearl bags, right? Yeah.
Magic.
And sorry, I was like designs. Yeah. Black Pearl Magic. You're right. Yeah. Sorry. I was focused on the story I was going to tell here, which is, yes, her husband was so funny because she introduced me to him and was like, these are the people that I made those billion bags for. And he was like, oh, that was something. And I was like, yeah, because that was a lot. And that took over my basement. That was something. And I was like, and then mailing them out, right? And he's like, that was something. So we made an indelible that was something mark on Shayla's husband. But it was, she was all of what you expect from her Instagram videos, and also just really loved the collaboration with our bags. So it was great. It was great. She was having a lot of fun. And sends her love as well. So lots of love from Rhinebeck to you, Amy, and everybody, all of our ZK family, StockinetteZombies family. So
okay, great. Well, we still have openings for ZK 2023. And I thought, in order to incentivize, or at least to help share with people what that this is the goodie bag from last year. So, as Megan mentioned, it's Black Pearl Magic. And you can see
all kinds of goodies
sparkles
in there.
Yeah, sparkles. And then on the back, no sparkles. So you can see everything that's in there. But then you also got a skein of yarn. So lovely souvenir yarn.
On that one.
Usually on the theme. We had this like eyeglass case notions pouch. We had some state fair stuff. It's kind of fun.
Ribbon.
And then we, of course, had our lovely hand-thrown mugs from Minnesota company.
Deneen.
Yep, Deneen. And we love Deneen. And then we also had these like local food coupons so that you could have a meal on us, or at least part of a meal on us.
Yeah.
And then just all sorts of little great things. Another something that we provided was these really cool stitch markers. with the retreat KAL symbols on it. And yeah, so I just thought it would be fun. If you're joining us in 2023, we have a few of these left over, and I am going to start doing drawings out of our people who are signed up. So the sooner you sign up, the more chances you have to get drawn. And everybody who has signed up with us will be eligible. If you
so if you're returning,
year,
you may be able to take something that you particularly like out of it and maybe recruit a friend. If there's some extras that you're not as interested in. And if you're new, like 2 goodie bags, you get the 2023 and 2022.
Yep, absolutely. So, so we're going to go ahead and announce that on Instagram as well. But I thought I would share it here. Probably do a little bit more of a, I don't want to say a reveal, but like a walkthrough of the goodie bag and the things that you get when you join us at ZK.
Yes. Exciting, exciting. I think the only other thing that I have to mention is that we do have the Woolly and Wilds book event this weekend. I'm super excited to talk with Sarah, Pat, and Bonnie, which is a family of, I think it's designer, photographer, illustrator. I may have photographer and illustrator flipped, but super excited to hear about their book journey. And I believe I saw a couple of their books were on Book Row at Rhinebeck. Realized too late that they probably were signing books and I could have introduced myself in person. Somebody was like, yeah, I think they were there at 11:30. And I looked down at my watch and I'm like, oh, it's 2:30. So yeah, if you're a ZKN member, join us this weekend. It should be a good time.
Absolutely. Yeah. It sounds fun.
Yes, let's do it. All right. Finished objects?
Yeah. So I only have one. It's pretty epic. It's a tunic length, but worsted weight. So it really didn't take that long. Pieced garment. This is the Marley.
Yes.
I feel like the shadows in this room are crazy, but
you're getting some pretty direct sunlight there.
Yeah.
So pretty, so pretty.
Yeah. So this is a Leading Men Fiber Arts. It's their non-superwash worsted weight merino in the Oink Oink colorway. So I'll have to be nice and careful and gentle when I wash this, but it really did love all of those cables, but as well as, a nice stockinette. So
yeah. And that was pieced, correct? There was a front and a back and a,
Yeah, and more so than any other, it was all pieces, right? Even the sleeves were separate. Sometimes people have you put things together and then make the sleeves. It's like, nope, this was all separate until we got to the end and sewed up everything and got the magic going. I think, everything. Because I was like, oh, the collar, and it's like, no, the collar was part of the front piece. And then you sewed it to the back piece. So that was also interesting, right? The ribbing kind of meets the ribbing in the back. And it was so.
When you cast that on, what itch were you trying to scratch? Was it the cables? Was it the yarn?
I'd seen the pattern a long time ago. So I just thought it looked big and cozy and really, nice and functional. I do think that the tunic length makes me feel real short because I put it on and I try to take photos and I'm like, I look like I'm standing in a bucket. Like my legs look like they're this long.
Yeah.
Because it's so long of a garment. But it is super cozy. I'll probably need to have some heels and some leggings, to try to make my legs look A
Yeah, I
lot
was gonna
longer.
I was gonna say like the younger generation goes the opposite of me with leggings, right? Like they're like the super high legging and then the crop top over it. But for
Yes.
me, I'm like if I'm gonna wear leggings, I want some coverage on the hindquarters. And so tunic kind of covers up, gives you that the butt coverage as it were. But yeah, I could see where you're coming from as far as, but that would be, I mean, that's a nice color to wear over black leggings. You could do a
Yeah.
print.
Yep.
Um, Super pretty.
Yeah. Again, I think it messed with my proportions, and so I just have to be really comfortable. Like I don't know. I thought it was gonna look more like the model. God
The legs didn't come with it.
no, no,
That's a bummer.
no. But so again, I don't know if you're a shorter person, I would take that into account when you're working this. So just kind of, but it's all pieces, so it's going to be a lot of math.
Mhm.
Um, or just be aware that yeah, it's a tunic length, and keep that in mind. Very deep V. So you have to wear something under it as well as be comfortable with that very deep V.
Mhm.
Because I realized that that's what it would be, but at the same time, I don't know. But yeah, it scratched the cable itch for sure. Loved the texture. I liked that it was kind of simple and plain everywhere else on the garment, so that it wasn't too overwhelming.
Mhm.
And then it being tunic length, yeah, just want longer legs.
Well, I'm sorry that you couldn't knit yourself that. But oh, all right. Well, so my turn.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's the only thing I finished except for that sad story where I lost one of my socks. So I did finish a pair of self-striping orange socks. But as I was finishing that final inch on the last one that weekend, I lost the first one. It fell out of the
Is it,
bag.
and it's not at work because you were showing them off at work, right? When you were podcasting it.
Yep. So
Hmm.
that weekend, I took them home to finish them because I knew that they were that close to being finished. Went on a walk downtown in the morning. I think that's where I lost them. Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Either that or at the happy hour because I was showing Miss Teskey them, and I had both of them at that point. But then I called them, and they don't. It's a thing. It's gone.
I'm sorry. I had a
Yep.
very lovingly handmade color work mitt that I, went all over downtown checking all of the various lost and founds, trying to find as well. But yeah, well, that's sad. I'm sorry.
I didn't go that far. I mean, I just kind of called two places, and when they said no, haven't seen it, I was like, well, maybe sometime I'll be walking downtown, and one of those socks will be draped over
Um,
a light post or something.
if it finds its way back to you, right?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So I made, along with I think six other Rhinebeckers, this stripes by Andrea Mowry. It uses Northern Bee, and we did have a group with Melissa and Vonda and Miss Cheryl and Teresa that did it at ZK. So they were kind of the OGs, and we did run into them all wearing our sweaters, and we were like, yeah, this was you. This is you. So this is like almost every single color that Northern Bee makes in this marine sport. There is a Northern Bee blue that is not in mine. Others just had 10, but I also had bourbon and I had the Northern Bee blue, which I didn't work in, but I did my cuffs and sleeves and hem in that color. And then, yeah, striping 10 different colors in it. It was very fun at Rhinebeck. I've knit like matching sweaters, I feel like, and very beautiful sweaters for Rhinebeck. But I think it doesn't, I mean, it's like almost immediate when you see, two people walking and they both have stripes on and they're both the same colors. We did not do the same striping sequence. So I do think it took like that half second for people to realize, Oh, those are the same sweater. It's just they're like uniquely matching, right?
Mhm.
So we were able to be unique and distinct, but also matching. Also very fun was that there was different levels of completeness.
Mm.
Um, so Lynn and I's were complete, and then there were others that had gotten to, separating for the sleeves and sleeveless. And they were probably not sweating as much for their sweaters as we were. Lynn and I briefly thought about like ripping out the sleeves and making it short sleeves. And then I just had to say weaving in ends. And we
Yeah,
were like,
right.
oh yeah, no, I'm not weaving in and all of these ends twice again, just so that I can have a short sleeve sweater on Saturday. Um, but just had lots of people stop and, or like, say twinning is winning, or asked to take our picture, which was super. It was, yeah, I had to try to level set for the group. Like normally don't get this many like just random people chatting with you about the sweater, but these colors are very stunning. It was fabulous to knit, and different necklines. There's two different necklines involved. um Lynn worked in like a split hem,
Mm.
right? So yeah, very versatile sweater pattern. And yeah, fun results. I definitely recommend this Northern Bee Moraine. It was a little more rustic while knitting with it, but it really washed up nicely. I think you've made something with was it the Moraine worsted or no?
Oh, I don't remember. It was the Charlie Brown sweater with the zigzags in it. Yeah, I wear it all the time.
Yeah, it's nice, right? It's
Yep.
not, I mean, it's not overly soft, but it washes up nice, and a non-super wash as well, right?
Mhm.
So you have to be a little careful. But yeah, I would definitely say alpenglows were in full effect. But we
Okay.
had our little contingent of stripes, right? So
Mhm.
very, very fun. I also finished another sweater in time to go. So I made an Easy V
Mm.
by Caitlin Hunter. This was written for DK, and I made it in fingering, and kind of light fingering at that. So the main color is, which you won't be able to enjoy, Amy, is an alpaca cashmere silk.
Mhm.
I think it's the softest yarn I've ever felt. It is so, so, so very soft. And then I paired that with some Suburban Stitcher purple. And then these are the beavers. So Dream Beaver and Spicy Beaver in the Magpie Swanky Sock. And again, just so soft. Like everything about this sweater is so, so very soft. Really enjoy the neckline shaping. You can see that it is, you kind of have this section here that sits on your shoulders. And then there's the V where you're increasing. It's kind of all on my Raptitude collection, right? Like you start out and you're increasing and ribbing and you're making it bigger. Um, and yeah, I like the weight of a fingering weight sweater, so that's why I did the adjustment. I also feel like because it's in fingering, um, the neckline is less of like a, dramatic off the shoulder for me. And then I was able to just keep on doing increases to get to the right, what I needed for my shoulders and chest circumference. So I cast on per my size in the collar, and then just kept on increasing until I got wide enough. It's also got some sleeves there. And yeah, this is Grinning Gargoyle. I don't know if she is still selling this alpaca cashmere silk, but it is like a cloud. And the colorway was fittingly called Thunder Snow. Thunder Snow.
Mhm. I
Which
really
makes me
wish
think. Hmm?
I really wish I could buy her mink yarn again. I'm gonna go find that piece that I made and I'm gonna wear it today.
It's so soft.
Yeah.
It's so soft. I did also do some decreases on the sleeves. which is not written into the pattern. So the pattern has a very wide sleeve, even down to like, and then it kind of dramatically comes in. Mine is more shaped. And because this sweater's sleeves grew so much in the blocking, I think I had in my mind calibrated that, oh, sleeves grow a ton. And this ends up, hers again, kind of comes down to almost like past knuckle. And mine only kind of comes down to, wrist length. So I don't want to have to rip out all of these and redo them. But I could do with a little bit more length in the sleeve. But yeah, this is just going to be one of my favorite sweaters forever and ever because it is so soft. Can't even. I was inviting people to like pet me, right? Like, so
You're making me want to create a sweater out of all of my swanky. I have a swanky sock. I don't know if they'll all go together. I'll have to set them out and see.
Yeah, it's funny. We were walking around and you see things right at Rhinebeck and somebody had a bag that said Big Beaver Energy. And I was like, why would you have that? And then I they flipped it and moved it. And I was like, oh, it's the magpies. It took me a second, but yes, the beavers are very fabulous. And yeah, super, super love this. May make another one fingering weight just because it was a great pattern. Obviously I'll increase my sleeve length. It's just so hard because you've got just you don't know how much your color work is going to shrink or grow. And then you've got to put that at the right place to place it at your, I don't know. I struggle for whatever reason, knowing where to start, especially since I lengthened my sleeves, where to start the color work, but it's so soft. And then I just have, as you do, my Muselburrows. So I've got a fun, like blue and yellow one. This yellow one that with the fun swirling is Mitchell's Creations.
Okay.
This one is super soft. The green ones are pulling at my heartstrings. Is Nitpicks, and then Queen Julie gave me a skein of this speckle green. It's so soft too. It's an MCN. It's from her LYS in Portland, Maine, or one of the yarn shops she frequents. And then I reused again that speckle with the Rosy Posy yarn. Again, this one is like, Megan, keep me. Because so me. It's so me. The other half of the Rosy Posy what got combined with, I think, a Madeline Tosh is the solid grayish blue here. And then this one is wicked. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
So this is a Leading Men Fiber Arts with a yellow. So just like, look at that. I mean, I couldn't have done it on purpose if I tried, but it really, like, when I changed colors, it came back. So I hope somebody who I'm gifting it to doesn't think it looks super weird, because I think it looks pretty cool, but
yeah.
Yeah, still have the table, still have been working on sweaters because it's felt like sweater weather. But it was really easy to pack for, overpack my projects for Rhinebeck. But saw quite a few of these on the needles. Got a Boston Jen photo with Lynn and I in various states. Lynn finished 2 at Rhinebeck, 2 Muselburrows.
Wow, she's speedy.
Yeah, I added some color work to a sweater, and then when we were out and about, I was working on a Muselburrow. I've got about half of one done. So yeah, she was just cranking them out left and right. But yeah, nearing the number that I need to have completed. But yeah, sweaters have definitely taken over. So
yeah, I know that seeing people's sweaters at Rhinebeck, I have 2 sweaters on the needles right now that I don't want to say they're close to being done, but they're like in that, like, oh, I want to work on both of them because I really want them both to be done. and they're not in the beginning stages anymore. They're over the halfway point. And so it's going to be trouble. It's going to be hard to pick one to focus on, but I need to pick one to focus on. I posted on Instagram. I think that the long summer cardi is winning, trying to get that one done. Because the other one's, it's a short sleeve. It's a thicker yarn. I think I can probably manage to get that one done. So I don't know. And I have a couple muse burls on the needles. I'm kind of letting them marinate. They're going to be my on the go but slow projects. I'm not in any hurry to get those done. They are really relaxing. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, again, perfect, like you said, on the go and travel, like, there's at any point you can kind of, pull it back onto the cord of the needle and walk away, right? Because after the increases, you're just round and round you go.
Yep, round and round you go for sure.
Yep. Did not see, I was kind of thinking that I would be super enabled at Rhinebeck by if anybody had like 50-gram skates to do that. I mean, I am appreciating getting my single ladies out of the stash and kind of working them into them all being different. That said, the color work that I'm working on is with Cece's wool, one of her 8-ounce fingerings. And several of those came home with me because I was like, I'm using one and it's so fabulous. So I enabled myself with my current project, as you do, yeah. Right?
For sure.
Don't get me wrong. And the color work, right? Between the color work on the EZV and the color work on this, I am just eating up the color work. Like, yes.
Yeah, I keep looking around because you mentioned things and I'm in my craft room. So like I have a bin full of CC just over here.
Yes, she says hello as well. I stopped by obviously while I was buying I'm calling them mixers. Like, a grayish white 8-ounce fingering and like a pink 8-ounce fingering to like mix with other colors. So yeah. It was good, but definitely didn't need to bring my, at work, somebody was asking me in a meeting, like, so did you bring like 10,000 yards of yarn home? And I was like, I don't know that I brought 10,000 yards of yarn home. Cause that's, 25 skeins of 400, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I was like, no, it's not 25 skeins. They're like, but more than 5,000. And I was like, oh yeah, more than 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
So well, again, I'll show those off. Super in love with all of them. And I'm sure I will be still as in love with them as we get to favorite things, or maybe next week I'll have a tip or trick, but.
Yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, I don't know how I would do if I went to a big festival.
Yeah, we were the first time when we went together, right? The husbands were like, we're dropping you off at this time, we're picking you up at this time. And it was a Saturday, which I feel like Sunday is when is the chiller shopping time. So yeah. Leaping llamas was super fun. Just another aside, actually a human won leaping llamas. So, cause the trainer jumped over and the llama wouldn't go or went and knocked it over. So they got to the highest rung, which I think it's the first time that I saw that. And, he went over and they didn't. And we started the wave. Okay. Barbara from HR was like, Megan, start the wave. And I'm like trying to get it. And eventually it went all the way to the it was so much fun. But anyway, well, sorry, you can tell I'm still riding the Rhinebeck high, right?
Okay. I'm just wondering if I'll get to see Barbara from HR next month.
Yeah, you might. You guys can start the wave at the fall frolic.
Yeah, here's hoping. I don't know if that crowd could handle it.
Well, thank you all for listening to my stories. Again, I apologize. It is just very much like seeping out of all of my pores still, right? So
Yeah.
It was great. It was great to see everyone. Beautiful, beautiful sweaters all around, as well as shawls and socks. And yeah, just as far as you can see, right? Like if you feel like you know a lot of crafters, if you go to Rhinebeck, you will feel like you do not know even a fraction of them, right? Like it's just phenomenal.
Yeah,
It is a
yeah, you
sight
could
to
be like,
beholden.
I feel like I have a huge circle, but then you're walking and you go, I haven't seen a single person I know. Yeah.
Yes, and that and like again, designs you've never seen,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
just
absolutely.
yeah, it really kind of helps you orient how large the crafting community is relative to, I feel like I'm well informed and used to be a little bit more on Instagram and saw a lot of things, but yeah, just a ton. But yeah, if you can make it, I definitely would recommend it. I know there's like the Maryland Sheep and Wool that you've been to recently. Festivals are a great way to invigorate what you're doing in person versus like
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
yeah, Zoom.
Yeah, and it's just nice to be around your people, right? They understand what it's like to have a hobby and love it so much, and it just happens to be the same hobby. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
great.
the number of times I said like as you do to people was amazing because yeah, just fabulous. But
All right, sounds good. Bye.
all right, bye, Ufta.
My son
Whew.
is growing.